Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. The 2021 NFL Draft has come and gone, and now it's the video that you have been anticipating. Draft grades, A, B, C, D, F, F minus, F minus minus for some of these teams. I'm going to go over the best teams that had the best drafts, A grades, as well as some failures, some teams that drafted on that C level, that D level, that F level. And I want to go over my favorites. It's not from CBS. It's not from Fox. It's not from ESPN. It's from your boy, Orion, and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or the GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on the YouTube page. Follow me, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. NWSF Chain Gang in the building. I had a lot of fun. First, I want to give a big shout out to all of the fans that ended up coming into the room and watching the draft spectacular with me doing the 2021 NFL Draft. I think I hit 13 of the first 15 picks. Not bad for a guy on YouTube that knows just a little bit about football. ESPN, my phone is open. Fox Sports, my phone is open. Bleacher Report, my phone is open. 13 out of the 15, pretty good. Once it gets to pick 16, a lot of things get kind of topsy-turvy and whatnot, but I want you to go over with me, and I want you to comment about your draft. But if you haven't smashed the like button just yet, looks like only one of y'all or two of y'all have done it so far, take a second, smash the like button for your boy. It's good for analytics, it's good for metrics, and I'm going to go over the teams that I thought that won the draft. And I'm not going to be a homer and say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had the best draft in the 2021 NFL Draft, because they did not. They didn't really have a lot of needs. All right, it was pretty much for depth. And there were some surprises in the draft, but I don't even really need to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to talk about a lot of the other teams and kind of the outlook of the NFL as we're going into training camp and we're starting to see preseason. And then we're going to be right back in the swing of things during the NFL 2021 season. So everyone comment below what they thought about their draft. I'm going to go over any questions that you have about your draft. If you think I, was thinking that it was over-exceeded expectations, or if it took a fucking dumpster dive with Oscar the Grouch. There was a few different picks that were very, very surprising in this NFL draft. But again, let me acknowledge everybody in the room. And I know this video will pick up. And like I said, a lot of people are going to want to be able to see my take on things. Because like I said, I don't end up watching SportsCenter and having someone tell me what to say. I'm going to make my own opinions based off the film. I'm going to make my own opinions based off the draft. I'm going to make my opinions about the articles, and we're going to go over everything. So first off, Aaron Rodgers. This whole debacle of the Green Bay Packers, I have never seen a quarterback get so disrespected that's been a top 3 quarterback in this league. They won the MVP. You did the Jordan Love thing. You did not address the wide receiver position early on. They should have ended up getting a wide receiver much earlier. Yes, they got one a little bit later. I'll get into that as we go into the broadcast, but it's one of those things. They called Tom Brady before they got Kyle Trask. They didn't need to, but that's what they do. That's what good organizations do. The Chicago Bears even called Andy Dalton and said, hey, we're going to take Justin Fields. We said that you're our quarterback, and that was the intention, but when Justin Fields ended up getting there, you got to take him. So, and then obviously he understood as well. So I want you guys to comment below. We can go over the winners, or we can go over the losers, and I'll give you my reasoning behind it. So comment below if you want me to start off with the losers in the draft, and we kind of have an idea. We're not fucking stupid. We've all watched the draft, all right, and we've all seen what some of the quote-unquote experts have to say. Some of it was written on the wall. Raiders, what were you thinking? But then there's a few other ones as well. So let me start off with the winners, it looks like. That's what I got. Kill Switch 831. So we'll start there. We'll go winners. I was waiting for someone to comment there. Let me acknowledge everybody in the room because that's what I like to do. Ruiz, LA Rams. What to do, baby? Rams. Even though the draft might not be great for y'all, you got Matthew Stafford, and that deserves an A++. Like I said, if there's any threat and there's any competition right, in the NFC to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guess what? It's you. So Matthew Stafford, A++, the draft, maybe, a B-, C+, somewhere in there. But, no one really expected the Rams or the Buccaneers to just have an A++ draft. We're two of the best teams in the NFC. Facts. So it's all about the other teams trying to improve and catch up to us. Big facts. All right, Kill Switch, Falcons, A+. I wouldn't say A+. You picked who you needed to pick with Kyle Pitts. It was a decent draft, but I wouldn't give it an A+. I'd give it a solid B. I mean, if you passed on, Kyle Pitts, we probably would be saying this is one of the worst drafts that you probably would have had, passing up a guy that is kind of like a Megatron. And if Julio ends up leaning June 1st and he's out the door, not a good look. But you got to be in cap hell to make a change. So if Julio goes, you still got Kyle Pitts, you still got Calvin Ridley, you still got Matt Ryan for a little bit. So I would not give the Falcons an A+ grade. I'm only going to give teams with an A grade that truly deserve it. And your boy is not going to sugarcoat shit. All right, I'm going to give you what it is. Let's see here. Let me go. Ruiz, I thought C-. McSneed. Brute Saint. I think our draft was B+ tops. Guess what? That's stretching it, my guy. Let's be honest here. Saints fans were not happy with that draft. That was one of the worst drafts that I've seen from the Saints ever. All right, let's not sugarcoat shit. You hope that some of those guys panned out. All right, but if you want to talk about the Saints, they're definitely in my category of one of the worst drafts. And this is not me being a Tampa Bay Buccaneer hater. This is not me being, a Panther lover, a Falcon lover, a Buccaneer lover, and a Saints hater. I call it right down the middle. You guys had a shitty draft. All right, you didn't really get a day one starter right out the gates. Peyton Turner in the first round, DN. Could he be good? Possibly. Pete Werner in the second round, linebacker. That was a stretch. You shouldn't have went for him in the second round, right? Paulson, Adebo, Stanford, corner. I mean, he's not really starter material, right? Ian Book, another guy, to sit behind either Jameis, right, or Taysom Hill. But are any of them impact starters? Fuck no, they're not. I mean, there's so many other teams that I'm going to read off their draft scale. That was not a B+ draft. That was like a C or D draft. I mean, what I expect from the Saints, Marshawn Lattimore, the Cameron Jordan, AK-41, those kind of guys, all right? I don't see any of those type of guys with Peyton Turner, Pete Werner, Paulson Adebo, and Ian Book. Come on. Let's be fucking honest with ourselves. And it's okay to say that we fucked up in the draft because everyone has them from time to time. All right, the Packers didn't really have a good one. Raiders might have had one of the worst ones, and I'll get into that too. But definitely the Saints was a bottom 3 draft overall. And like I said, sometimes the truth hurts, but at least I'm not just a Buccaneer lover and a Saint hater. I call it right out the gate on how it is. So you can agree with me or not agree with me, but let's be honest. There's a lot of Saints fans up there that are fucking upset. And I'll be honest, when I saw the Saints draft the players that they did, it made me upset as an NFL fan because I want them to compete with Tampa Bay to try to win the NFC South, even though the Tampa Bay Bucks, Tampa Bay is the favored team. The Panthers are coming. The Falcons are trying to make moves. The Saints had a lot of holes, and I don't think they picked the right guys at the right spots. No one on planet fucking Earth said, oh my God, I hope the New Orleans Saints select Peyton Turner with the first round pick. Fuck that. No one fucking said that. And did you see the Saints fans' reactions when they picked Peyton Turner in the first round? They're like, the first round pick from the New Orleans Saints is Peyton Turner. You had a guy do this. Who? Like, they literally weren't excited because they didn't even know who the fuck he was. Not a good pick. You could at least got Asante Samuel Jr., right? At least got someone that had a dad in the league. Then you would have been like, all right, that's what we need. You need a corner. You need a wide receiver. You did not address corner or wide receiver high enough in the draft to make an impact. That's the bottom line because O-Dog said so. And like I said, it's not me trying to be a dick. It's not me trying to be a hater. I've always called it right down the middle. I don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers really had a fantastic draft. We didn't really have a lot of needs. It was all for depth. I would have liked them to end up going for a JPP replacement, someone that would maybe, there's other guys there, Azeez Ojulari, and there's these other guys that would have been a good fit. Obviously, the guys that we ended up to try on, I like that pick, all right, but he still needs to prove it to me that was the right guy. Yeah, you got the Vita Vea bloodline coming from UW, but I like that pick a lot, but he still needs to prove it that he can be the guy that can step in with JPP getting older, Ndamukong Suh getting older. Kyle Trask at the end of the second round for me. A lot of people love that pick. And you saw Kellen Mond and a lot of these other guys go at the beginning of the third. I like the pick, because he's going to sit behind Tom for 2, 3, 4 years. And with all the coaching staff, Byron Leftwich, Tom Brady, BA, Tom Moore, the OG who's like 150 years old, the quarterback guru, he's in the best position for any quarterback to be molded by the best quarterback arguably of all time with Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, quarterback whisperer, all right, and a few others. So he's in a good spot, but I don't know if he'll ever be anything that's going to be long-term for me. Of course, I'm not saying he's going to be the next Tom Brady, because you're not going to be the next Tom Brady, but can he be like an Andy Dalton-ish kind of guy? And if I still have, a supporting cast, with Andy Dalton kind of skill set, maybe out of Kyle Trask, hopefully a little bit higher than Andy Dalton, then maybe I'll be able to go to the playoffs and compete with the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons. So, I was okay with the pick. I love those first 2 picks, all right? But it's not like Tampa Bay Buccaneers had an A-grade draft. To be honest, if I was going to give Tampa a grade on the draft, it'd probably be C, right? And I could be just like, oh, Tampa Bay had the best draft ever. Tampa Bay, we're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going for 2. We're going for 3. But at least I'm realistic, and that's what gives me fucking credibility. And shout out to all of the fans that watched me go 13 for 15 in the first 15 picks, over $250 in donos on that Thursday first round. Shout out to y'all. And like I said, when I hit on those picks and I call it right down the middle, all right, you know that I'm spitting the truth. So let's get into some of the picks, and I'm going to acknowledge everyone in the room. Falcons A+ graded draft. No. He said B+ tops with the Saint draft. Fuck no. Absolutely not. Worse than Tampa's, that's for sure. So if I give Tampa a C, where do you think you are? Not a good look. Brute Saint, we filled in our needs, but we could have done a little better. That's an understatement. Of course you could have. You got guys where you reached for the first 2 guys, and you don't even know if any of these guys are going to be impact starters. Not a good draft. And like I said, it's okay, but the Panthers are coming. All right, the Panthers are coming. The Falcons will still be on the bottom, but you're nowhere near Tampa's skill set at this point, which is going to be a small window for me. It's not like Tampa Bay is going to be a top dog like the Kansas City Chiefs for the next 10 years. I got a small window, and I'm trying to maximize these championships or NFC championship games until Tom retires. Once Tom goes, and if Godwin goes, I'm going to have to rebuild. And I hope I get a guy that's Kirk Cousins-ish, Matthew Stafford-ish, Ryan Tannehill-ish to come in. Because if not, and if it's Kyle Trask and he's Andy Dalton or worse, I'm not going to be really doing anything that big down the road. So we're going to have to kind of wait and see. But for the time being, Tampa Bay's the top dog. Kansas City Chiefs is right there. Rams is right up there with them. And that's big facts. Devonta Smith, okay, BLA, I see you. NFL season needs to come here, man. May, June, July are the dead months. Yeah, but your boy is always going to cover the NFL 365 days a year, 24/7. So that may be true, but you're going to get the fire, you're going to get the energy, and you're going to get the cold, hard facts, whether you love them or not. Tampa Bay's grade in the draft, C, maybe C+. Saints, definitely not a C grade, definitely not a B+ grade. I'm sorry, my guy. I know a lot of Saints fans are on the channel, but that draft was not good. That was like a D fucking draft. Now, some of these guys could overachieve and then end up being better than we think. They could end up fitting into the roles and being starters and impact guys. But just based on what I've seen in college, on tape, the articles, and everything that I've broken down up to this point of doing this video, it did not look good. It did not look good. And for Saints fans, you can still think that you run the NFC South. We know that's not true anymore, but you still want to have a good draft to be competitive and fill those holes with Jenkins, all right? Sheldon Rankins, all right? T-Rex, Emmanuel Sanders. You got a lot of holes there, and you didn't really get a starter day one at wide receiver to kind of take over Emmanuel Sanders' spot. That's a problem. All right, Jared Cook is gone. Who's going to play there on a high level? All right, Drew's no longer there. Jamison Taysom. Taysom can't be the quarterback long term. He already proved it. He's not good enough to be a quarterback, for first down, second down, third down. He's better as a Swiss Army knife. That's just better for your guys' team. All right, and Jameis, we'll see how good those eyes are, but he's not the long-term answer. You got a one-year deal, but you guys need someone better, like a Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins-ish kind of talent. And I think Tampa and the Saints, after Drew retired and once Tom retires, we're going to be looking at the same type of player that we want to kind of back up our future Hall of Fame first ballot guys in Drew Brees and Tom Brady. And that's facts. Let me keep going down here. Ruiz, LA Rams, Cleveland, A++. I wouldn't necessarily say it's an A++, but Cleveland is one of the teams that I'm going to go over. I thought they did have a great draft. Eagles select Devonta, not Devontae, Devonta Smith. All right? There's a lot of guys that the Eagles picked up, and I'll get into that as well. Panthers had the best draft, Colton Hunter. They are in my top 5, and I will go over why I think that as well. Slim Reaper, winners, BLA, Panthers, baby, amazing draft, sure. I definitely agree. Nova Flame, Orion, not sure how I feel about the Justin Fields pick. Just cautiously skeptical because I've seen this before. But if Justin Fields pans out, all right, you got Andy Dalton, you start him. Even though I think they should go Justin Fields day one. Day one starter, throw him in there. Of course, he's going to have nerves, but it's not like they got a whole lot outside of Allen Robinson. You know, they had Tariq Cohen, but you don't really have a whole lot on the O-line. Running backs, they kind of underachieve. Yeah, they got a two-headed horse at running back for the Bears, but it's really Allen Robinson. He's really the piece that moves the sticks. First down, Bears. It's him. All right, so I'd rather have Justin Fields and then Allen Robinson, you know, to be able to have that kind of connection. Defense, it's never been the same since Vic Fangio left, the D coordinator of the Bears a few years ago, to be the head coach of the Denver Broncos. So we'll see where it goes, but I actually do like the draft that the Bears had. I think it was one of the best case scenarios for Justin Fields, better than the Broncos, unless they get Aaron Rodgers. But I think it was a good spot, and there is a chance if Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay, all right, the Vikings aren't necessarily the sure team to win that NFC North. If the Bears can put it together, even though I'm not a big fan of Nagy, the Bears could end up being very competitive. And even the Lions in a couple years, depending on what MCDC does in the draft, the Lions got to be at the bottom. You still got to give the Packers a top spot until we hear Aaron Rodgers is traded to the Broncos or the Raiders. All right? But the Bears and Vikings definitely could compete, and I like Justin Fields. I think this is a good spot, but they still need more wide receivers, more tight ends, more O-line. The defense is pretty good, but some of their guys are aging, and they need better coaching. That's really what it comes down to. All right, let's see here. I'm just happy we addressed the defense first for the Saints fans. I agree. Just the wrong people, just the wrong players. You could have definitely got a better reaction from players that you didn't reach for. And like I said, everyone's going to have their own opinions, but, you know, I want to give it to you honestly and real and not just sugarcoat it like, yeah, and agree with you how great your draft was when it wasn't. I have to be, brutally honest. All right, Eagles A++. No, they didn't have an A++ grade or draft grade, period. The Eagles did not. But you could probably say they were in the B range. It was pretty good. Brute saying, if our fucking asses would have drafted a corner first, I would say B+ with full confidence. Well, Asante Samuel Jr., could have been the guy. You know what I mean? Peyton Turner is great and starting caliber, but just not first-round talent. I'm not sure if he's great. I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, that's just Saints fans being optimistic and hoping that he's going to be not a bust. All right, and there's a chance that he might end up being a pretty good player, but I wouldn't have picked him with that pick in that particular spot in the first round. Very, very head-scratching for some of those picks for a team like the Saints, who are top 10, top 12 caliber, even where their team sits right now. All right, they have a lot of pieces gone. Drew Brees, T-Rex, Jenkins, Rankins. Don't act like I'm some fucking moron that I don't know the Saints. I know more about the Saints than most Saints fans do. Let's be honest, all right? I know the players. I know the coaches. I watch the film. I study the NFC South very closely, all right? And I'm hoping for your guys' sake it pans out, but don't hold your breath. All right, if you haven't smashed the like button just yet, please do. It looks like about a fourth or a fifth of you have done it. It's good for analytics. It's good for metrics. I'm almost caught up with all the comments, and we'll go into everything real quick. Bears, I would not give the Bears an A grade, but I think we'll go into that here in a second. But somewhere in that B range is where I would do it. Just how Loomis and Peyton go. They try too hard to get guys and develop them instead of guys who have a good fit of development. BLA still strongly saying A++ with the Eagles fly. I'll go over why. Nathan Dotson, Suppo Rizzle not really getting any notifications. What's new? The fans with the channel, they don't get my notifications. I have to let them know sometimes by social media. Hopefully you can change your settings for, all new videos, all notifications, but I'm going to be able to get into that. I appreciate that you finally knew that I was going to be. I mean, you just got to pretty much assume that I'm going to be online almost every day. And normally, I get off work around 4:30 Pacific time, right? Gives me about an hour or two to study, watch film, read, relax after I've worked an 8 or 9 hour day. And I'm going to hop on between 7 and 7:30 Pacific time, Monday through Friday pretty often, unless we have something going on the weekends for the games. Let's see. Calvin Griffin, not true. Troutman, Cook, you bugging. Obviously, Troutman is going to be better than Cook. But, I mean, I'm just saying, is that going to be a guy that's going to really lead you to the playoffs? And the answer is fuck no. Come on now. Cowboys and Eagles rivalry games are going to be fire now. Agreed. Don't nobody want no bum-ass Tannehill or Cousins. Tannehill's better than who you got. All right? Kirk Cousins, I would take Kirk Cousins over who you got. Cousins and Tannehill are way better than fucking Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill at QB. Don't kid yourself. Come on, Calvin Griffin, Saints fan. Don't be mad that I said you guys had a shitty draft. Just own it and accept it, because I'm not the only one that's told y'all that the draft was shitty. All right, you guys did not have a good draft, and that's big facts. Nova Flames and Darnell Mooney, though, I see you. Callaway, Trayvon, all below average to average at best. I'm sorry, but realistically, Saints don't have a damn reliable 2 or 3 receiver. There you go. That's the realistic Calvin Griffin comment I want to see, and that's true. People thinking that these guys, that were decent with Drew are going to be able to take over the 2 or 3 spot. Inconsistent. All right, David Montgomery literally was top 5 in rushing. He was, and you got Tariq Cohen. All right, but do you really feel confident in the Bears, game in and game out, that they can stay healthy and they're going to be able to win? Justin Fields adds another equation, right, with Allen Robinson, Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery. But the O-line isn't that good in my opinion. All right, and the defense has underachieved since Vic Fangio left. So, yeah, you got names on defense, all right, starting with Khalil Mack. But they haven't really been a good football team since Vic Fangio was there. Big facts. Look it up. Odin Child, bang! He's on him okay and happy with what Casey did. Except the Eichenberg. Yeah, I know you're a hater with that. $5, my boy. Appreciate it. Odin Child, always representing your boy. Yeah. Liam Eichenberg. Well, you're a Notre Dame guy. Notre Dame had a lot of guys, just like Alabama and Ohio State, and the Chiefs with their draft. Maybe wasn't the greatest draft, but guess what? You got Orlando Brown, all right? You got Joe Tooney, right? And then you ended up getting Kyle Long to come back. So you addressed the O-line. So, I mean, just like in other situations where, you got Matthew Stafford. So you got an A++. Joe Tooney, Orlando Brown, A++. Even though your drafts were, maybe in that B or C range, who cares? You ended up getting the pieces that you needed to be able to come for Tampa Bay and Tampa Bay as we're going into the next Super Bowl 56. He said 56, we're coming. We're probably going to get a Tampa Bay versus Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl again, unless we have injuries. The Rams are there, the Bills are there, but I mean, there is a significant drop-off, but based on what I see in paper, the Chiefs are far ahead of every other AFC team, and it's only if, like, Mahomes goes down, if Honey Badger goes down, Tyreek, Kelsey, it's going to have to be a big name, more importantly, Tom Brady going down, or Patrick Mahomes, but if they don't, I wouldn't be shocked if they go to the Super Bowl again, and I wouldn't be shocked if Tampa loses. Right, to Kansas City, because Kansas City is the real deal Holyfield. I'm going to hope we go for 2, but there is no guarantee. Don't agree with you. The fact that Saints don't reach for shit. They go after the guys they want, whether fans want them or know about them or not. Well, we'll see how good this draft is. See, young Nola, Debo is a steal. The only fucking reason you say that is because he liked one of your comments or posts on Instagram, or you got him to follow you. Go Saints. Oh, he followed me. Oh, he's going to be a good player. Get the fuck out of here with that. All right? Yeah, he fucking followed you, and you're a fucking Saints fan, but that doesn't mean he's going to be a good player. Get fucking out of here with all that bullshit, Nola. All right, do some research, watch some film, all right, instead of hopping on guys' nuts before they perform. There is no guarantee that any of the guys are day one starters, that they're going to do anything. And that's not me being a hater, that's me being real and calling you out, baby. All right, calling you out. Pete Werner, fire linebacker. Come on, bro. You didn't even know who Pete Werner was until you had to look it up afterwards. Don't act like you some fucking professional, like you knew all those things. Come on, Nola. Stick to rapping. My guy. Nova Flame, he's like, we got Darnell Mooney. Daz, wide receiver looking kind of nice, though. Seahawks, Brian, 21. What to do? Seahawks in the building. Saints will definitely be solid offensively. Saints will take a step back because they only have one receiver. We will see. Nola saying some things that definitely aren't true. What's new, Nola? I got to do that to you, my guy. Nova Flame, and we got an offensive tackle. That should help. Calvin Griffin. Saints draft record of these past 5 years speaks for itself. Even Davenport, when the dude on the field, when he makes the entire line. Check the numbers. Yeah, they've had pretty good drafts, but you can't compare this draft to the past Saints drafts and say that it's similar. This draft was not good. Ian Book. Nola, you don't even know who fucking Ian Book is. You need to go read a book before you know who Ian Book is. Come on, my guy. Come on. Brute Saint, agreed. Davenport is as good as Jordan, in my opinion, just doesn't stay freaking healthy. I don't know if I would go that far. Cameron Jordan is like Hall of Fame material. Davenport has potential, but he's never lived up to it yet. Cameron Jordan is game in, game out. The DeMario Davis, he's the other part of the glue, all right, that holds that team together. So, I mean, you can like your guys, I get it, but I wouldn't say Davenport is nowhere near Cameron Jordan in any type of realm whatsoever. He said, get the fuck out of here. You don't like Winston because he didn't work for your bum-ass squad. Hey, I fucking won the Super Bowl. What happened to y'all? You guys choked. All right, being the best team in the NFC South, being one of the best teams the last 4 or 5 years, and you couldn't get it done. Just because Jameis is on your team doesn't mean that you guys are going to win the fucking Super Bowl, let alone even get to the fucking playoffs. Nobody thinks Jameis Winston is good, and that's facts. And, of course, you have to say that you think that he's good. If he's on your team, he's your fucking starting quarterback. You got Taysom Hill, and he can't do it. He's not going to be able to be the day one guy, do every single down. Struggled, all right? Jameis might be able to do some things, but I definitely would rather have an old-ass Drew Brees rather than a fucking healthy, good-seeing Jameis Winston. He's just a bad character guy. He doesn't make good decisions. He's going to throw interceptions. Yeah, he can throw the deep ball, but the deep ball ain't going to win you games. All right, because especially when it's going to the other team, like my team, like Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy Bunting, Jamel Dean, and Antoine Winfield Jr. Facts. So if you think the Saints had a bad draft, you're wrong. Well, that's your opinion, my guy. Of course you want to be able to fight for your team and say they had a good draft. This draft is nowhere near what you guys had with AK-41, Marshawn Lattimore, and the other past drafts. Chiefs A-plus draft, Traska. It's not Traska Bay, it's Traska Bay. All right, come on, Shrick. We got to get it right, my guy. We got to get it right. The Florida Gators are running wild in the NFL, and I absolutely love that. Second-round pick. Love it, love it, love it. Is it Northwest Sports Mag Stream without writing roasting Noah? I got to, because the thing is, if he was real and a true Northwest sports fanatic, right, he wouldn't be saying those things. But, just because he sees some kind of post on Instagram come up, all right, just because he saw an Instagram post come up or you got to follow, that doesn't mean you know anything and everything. You didn't even know who that fucking guy was until you guys drafted him. That's facts. Even Nola's laughing right now. LMAFAO. I knew it. The roast. Oh, shit. All right. Let's see here. Own child, bang, $5. He said, who doesn't know Ian Book? I'll educate. Notre Dame, baby. We know this. Don't pay attention to the earlier comment about Winston. Hey, but no one believes in Winston. That's a fact. So let me go into the teams that actually had good drafts. And like I said, I call it right down the middle. I'll roast my team. I didn't even say Tampa had an A draft. I didn't say they had A+. I didn't say A-. I didn't even say B. All right, so you got to give me some fucking credibility. All right, I got 13 of the first 15 fucking picks. Let me see who else got 13 of the first 15. Not very many. Even the guys that are in the pros that are doing this shit for a living, all right, on the big networks didn't get 13 out of the first 15 or even had an idea of where those guys were going to go. Of course, getting the first 5 picks or first 8 or first 10, you can kind of have a gauge or an idea, all right? But once it gets past that point, you really got to think outside the box. And I think I did a fucking fantastic job. So let me go into my winners, and we'll go over this, and then you guys can really see what a good draft is. All right? All right, so we can go over some of the teams, and I can kind of work my way up. So let's start off with the first team. All right, the Cleveland Browns. To me, they're the third best team in the AFC. All right, you got Jadeveon Clowney to join who? Myles Garrett, one of the best defensive end, edge rusher, pass rushers, beasts in the NFL, right? So you already had Ward on one side. All right, you already had Ward on one side. Nola, do I have to roast you again? You're like, oh, he had more interceptions. J.C. Horn, if he was so fucking good, then why didn't he get drafted in the fucking first round? Don't play me with this fucking ignorance and this dumb shit, bro. You just make yourself sound fucking so dumb when you talk to me about that. Debo sat out and still got more interceptions than J.C. Horn. Like Debo's going to be better than J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. Get the fuck out of here. No, they're not. If he was such a fucking good player, he would have went in the fucking first round. Get the fuck out of here. Nola, go back to school, my guy. Go back to school. Go back to school. Stick to rapping, bro. You're not on that NFL tip. Stick to rapping, my guy. There's a reason why he didn't go in the first round. He doesn't have first round talent. Facts. So you got Ward on one side, Greg Newsome. I love that pick on the other side of the corner. Cash out hybrid. I know some people aren't getting the notifications. I've only been on for about 20, 30 minutes. So you're in here. I haven't gone into too many things, cash out. You're still here. So Greg Newsome was good. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, one of my favorite players in the draft. To get him in the second round, that's first round talent. Yes, he had injury issues. All right, but I think that was a good pick. And the value pick, wide receiver, Anthony Schwartz, the third-round burner from Auburn. I mean, this gives Baker another weapon. Now, I'm not a believer in Baker. I don't like him. I like Nick Chubb. All right, I like Kareem Hunt. All right, I'm not really a big Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield guys. I don't really like those three players. But I do like Myles Garrett. Jadeveon Clowney's kind of washed. He's old. But he might be able to put something together based off the double teams that you got. I got Ward, you got Newsome, you got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, so you're building the defense, and I think that it's going to be tough mentally for the Browns to be able to do what they did last year. But if anyone can win that AFC North, I think it's the Browns. I think they are the best team in the AFC North, better than the Ravens, better than the Steelers, and goddamn well better than the goddamn Bengals going for Jamar Chase instead of Penei Sewell. That was fucking stupid. There's a way when good teams draft to protect their quarterback, Justin Herbert and the Chargers, all right, with Rashawn Slater, which I'll get into, or you do the Cincinnati Bengal thing. You try to get rapport with someone that you played in college. Yes, you're going to score touchdowns. Yes, you're going to sell jerseys. Yes, you're going to put butts in the seats, but you're still in fourth place. You ain't going to the fucking playoffs, and you're going to probably eliminate Joe Burrow's career like Andrew Luck. He's going to keep fucking tearing knees until he gets to a point where, what if? What if Joe Burrow could have been the guy? What if, like just Andrew Luck? What if he had an offensive line like they do now? What they would be able to do if they didn't have Carson Wentz and they had Andrew Luck, all right now with Quentin Nelson in that line, the Colts would be one of the favored teams to get to the AFC Championship game. Nola, I'm going to have to block you, my guy. Dude, you make me stupider and dumber every time I look at your comments. Come on, Nola. Do some research and watch some film before you come at me in the chat. Come on. So with the Browns, that's one of my teams that I got to give an A grade on the draft. Probably more of an A- because I'm only going to give A grades or A+ grades to certain teams, all right? The Browns, great picks. Great value picks. Anthony Schwartz, look for him. Third rounder from Auburn. A little burner, all right? But the ones that really are going to make the difference. Now Ward has someone on the opposite side with Greg Newsome. Probably around the 3rd to 6th best corner in the draft. But he'll give an opportunity to prove himself with Ward on the other side. And Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from Notre Dame. All right, he should be a guy that can run sideline to sideline. All right, we're going to get to a point where I feel that he is going to be able to do big things for this roster. So that's going to be one of the big winners, all right, the Cleveland Browns. All right, another one of the big winners in the draft. And it's very easy to see. It's got to be the Chargers. All right, they didn't do the Cincinnati Bengal. Duh, what did I do? I'm going to go for the wide receiver. No, you ended up protecting my guy, J. Herb, right? You got Rashawn Slater, the second best tackle in the draft, all right, with Penei Sewell. Some people even had him graded higher than Penei Sewell. So you get your tackle that's going to protect Justin Herbert for years and years and years to come. Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. Now we just got to be able to work on the defense. And then what they do? Boom, Asante Samuel Jr., the pick that probably the Saints should have had with their first-round pick. I think a lot of the Saints fans and even myself would have been happy. All right, cool, you got a guy. Dad played in the league. This guy's got a lot of talent. He's got the secrets. He's got the work ethic. So not only do you get Rashawn Slater, but you get Asante Samuel Jr. in the next round. The Chargers get an A- grade, just like the Browns. You got 2 quality guys that can make impacts for the Chargers for years and years and years to come, just like Newsome and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah for the Browns. All right? Next up, I got to go with one of the ones that I saw that was kind of speculated, kind of debated, but we got to go with the New York Jets, Jets. Let's go. Zach Wilson, the highest potential out of any quarterback that's in this draft, but he's going to have the hardest time to succeed because he's not like Trey Lance, where he's in the Bay where they already got all the supporting cast built. They're literally building the foundation from the ground up. Zach Wilson is going to have a hard time. But if they keep making picks like this and they keep hitting in their drafts, it's going to be sooner than later. I like the trade up for Elijah Vera Tucker, USC guard, the best guard in the draft. Now, they did give a lot of capital to go up, but he would have been gone to the Cardinals or a few other teams that were looking there. So most people would say, these quote-unquote experts, that was a dumb move. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have traded, those draft picks to get there. I disagree. I truly believe that if you want to get your quarterback on the right level, you got to pick proper guards, tackles, and centers that are going to be impact guys. Elijah Vera Tucker is an impact guy. I like that. Then you go with Michael Carter, all right, President Carter. Michael Carter, running back from North Carolina, right? And then on top of that, another guy that the Saints should have drafted, Elijah Moore from Ole Miss. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, so you got 4 quality pieces. Zach Wilson, franchise QB. Elijah Vera Tucker, franchise guard. Michael Carter, solid starter or backup, third down back, change of pace back, right? Elijah Moore, a guy that can step right in. And let's not forget, you got Jamison Crowder, all right? You got Corey Davis, and I believe they even got Keelan Cole from the Jags. So, if you actually start looking at that wide receiving core, Elijah Moore is smaller. He can run in the slot. He's not DK Metcalf, who went to Ole Miss, all right? He's not who? A.J. Brown, who went to Ole Miss. But I like Elijah Moore going to this Jets team so he can get some rapport with Zach Wilson, and it might end up being one of his favorite targets. Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Michael Carter, Elijah Moore, that's got to be an A in my book. That is definitely an awesome draft. You got 4 caliber guys that can be impact guys right out the gates. Now, the defense needs a lot of work. That's a big fact. The defense needs a lot of work. Test in the building. Bang! Sherman is not coming to us. He said that the Saints are not on his list, which means the Saints aren't a yes. Yeah, he's not going there, and you won't even want him to go there. I mean, a better case scenario, maybe going back to Seattle and trying to refurbish things with Danger Russ and Pete Carroll. But, yeah, you're not going to get him, and I wouldn't even want him really on Tampa Bay, even if it's on the cheap. But you got to give the Jets, to me, that's got to be an A- or A grade on the draft. Fantastic draft with Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Michael Carter, and Elijah Moore. It looks good. All right, if you look at the Jets players that I mentioned, they pretty much went from last year with Sam Darnold with nothing, with Jamison Crowder being their top guy. Now you got Jamison Crowder. Corey Davis is dangerously underrated. To me, he's a top 20, top 22 wide receiver in this league. If you watched him with him and A.J. Brown when he was healthy, he's a touchdown machine with Ryan Tannehill. So I'm not saying that Zach Wilson is going to be on that Ryan Tannehill level right away, but there's a lot of potential for the Jets to be pretty good, all right, pretty competitive in a couple years. They're not going to make the playoffs anytime soon, but they're definitely going to be at least watchable, just like the Jags. New York, Jets, Jets. You get an A in my book. Browns, you get an A- in my book, all right? Chargers, definitely got an A- in my book there as well. And let's go to the 2 teams that I absolutely loved in this draft. Is it the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Fuck no. Is it the New Orleans Saints? Fuck no, all right? We're talking about another team in the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers. Hashtag keep pounding. Love this draft because you get the swagger of a Josh Norman, but you actually get a better fucking corner. J.C. Horn going first over Patrick Surtain going to Denver. Denver's draft wasn't too bad, even though they already have running backs on the payroll. It made you scratch your head on where they went in the draft, but Surtain is a day 1 starter. But I like J.C. Horn more because he's got the swagger. He's a hard hitter. He fits the personality of hashtag keep pounding, and he's going to beat some ass out there. So I absolutely love that pick. It's probably my favorite defensive pick in the whole entire draft. J.C. Horn, I love him that much. I'm a big linebacker guy. I know Micah Parsons will do his thing in the big D, but J.C. Horn, I mean, it's not going to be necessarily like Okudah. I think this is going to be a better player, and it could be like a Josh Norman, but on crack. Like, we're talking Josh Norman on a whole nother level and not just a system guy. Absolutely love J.C. Horn. And on top of that, having your dad as Joe Horn there, I mean, that's going to be everything. I mean, those matchups that he's going to have with Michael Thomas, those matchups with Mike Evans and Godwin, those matchups he's going to have with Julio and Kyle Pitts. He went against Pitts in college. Love J.C. Horn. That's an A+, just like a Kyle Pitts if you're talking about the player and the team and the fit. And then you get Terrace Marshall Jr. in the second round, another player that the Saints could have went for. Yeah, they don't really want to go for those LSU guys, but in this case, going for a guy like that in the second round would have made sense. If you guys would have went Asante Samuel first, then Terrace Marshall in the second round, the Saints draft, everyone would be like, okay, cool. An A-grade draft, A- draft, but you didn't get those players. But J.C. Horn at corner, Terrace Marshall Jr. in the second round, Brady Christensen at O-tackle. Love that pick. That's very dangerously underrated. And then you get Tommy Tremble, tight end from Notre Dame in the third round. Fantastic draft. You have guys that you can put in. Bang, 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 right in there. And I'm telling you, the Panthers are coming. All right, the Saints, you're going to be the number 2 team until proven otherwise. But if Jameis or Taysom Hill slip in any type of way, don't even for a fact think that the Panthers are not coming. They are on the track to be able to get second place in the NFC South, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Panthers make the playoffs in a year, this year, next year, the following year. They have good players, Brian Spider-Burns. They got Jeremy Chin. Now you got J.C. Horn. You got good players on offense. You got defense. You still need to work on the offensive line a little bit more. But I like what the Panthers are doing. They're definitely getting in the right spot. And the thing is they don't need Max Epo. They don't need that Deshaun Watson, cancer. Deshaun Watson going to the Panthers was my best natural fit before all the allegations came out. All right, but you already got Sam Darnold, and I still think that you can make the playoffs with Sam. He's never had talent like he's going to have there with Run CMC and all these other players. I'm excited to see where it goes. Panthers, you definitely get an A draft grade. All right? And the number 1 team in the 2021 NFL draft, by far, killed the draft. It wasn't even close. I mean, the Panthers had a good draft. The Jets had a good draft. Browns did. The Chargers. And there's a few others that you can mention. Vikings and Denver. All right. He said, Sam trash. Nola, you trash. All right. You trash. Jameis is trash. All right. Come on now. I'm going to laugh if the Saints end up going 8-8 or worse, and the Panthers end up going 10-7 or 11-6 and make the playoffs. But like I told you before, if you guys have a shitty season and take one step back, go 10 steps forward and get your future franchise QB next year, that's going to be where you're going to want to go. And the thing is you're not even a good evaluator of talent, my guy. Sam Darnold was good at USC, and he never had any weapons. Literally had the least amount of weapons, all right, out of any quarterback in the NFL. Literally, Jamison Crowder was his best option. You tell me who's going to win games when Jamison Crowder is your best option and you have no offensive line and no defense. See, that's right there where you have no credibility, Nola, when you say certain things, all right? Sam is good. Sam is not going to be a top 10 quarterback in this league, but he definitely could be top 20, and he might be able to move up into maybe the top 15. But, when you say things that, make yourself look dumb, I mean, I'll just keep letting you speak into the chat. You keep doing you. You keep saying the things that you say, all right? But you don't run the NFC South anymore, and that's big facts. All right, here we go. The team that had the number one draft, and it's undeniable. This draft was great. Not only did you not get a quarterback to compete with Tua Tagovailoa, Brian Flores being in that regime with Bill Belichick, this team, I told you, had to hit on this draft, the next one, and the next one. And they have 70% of these draft picks. If they hit, they are going to be able to make moves, compete with New England, the Bills, and some of the other teams. They should have made the playoffs last year. The Miami Dolphins absolutely stole the fucking draft. A+. It's the only A+ I'm going to give you. Number one, Jalen Waddle, beast. All right, he's going to be a guy that will compete with Devonta Smith. He'll be a guy that's going to compete with Jamar Chase. He's going to be able to get things going for that offense. Then, in the second round, you go to my boy from the Oregon Ducks, Javon Holland, a very underrated safety, a guy that's going to be able to put up good numbers, give you some stability on the back end. Then, you go for some of the Chiefs fans' favorite guys, and Odin's child favorite guy, Liam Eichenberg, right tackle from Notre Dame. We saw what they do with Quentin Nelson with the Colts. We saw what they do with Mike McGlinchey with the Niners. All right, Eichenberg is a stud. So not only are you beefing up the wide receiving core, Tua needs it, you're also beefing up the safety position for the defense. Then you get Liam Eichenberg, right? You got him there. And then on top of all that, you bring in a guy from the U, probably the best edge rusher besides Kwity Paye that went to the Colts, in Jalen Phillips. Yeah, he's got some injuries, right? But if he ends up staying healthy, Waddle, Holland, Eichenberg, and Jalen Phillips, I mean, those are all day one bangers. Those are guys that you can just bring out there immediately and that can have an impact. So don't be surprised if the Dolphins make the playoffs year one in this new regime, even though year one was last year. But with this team, with these players moving forward, and if they hit next year and they hit on the next draft, Brian Flores is already showing me that they know how to draft, they know how to build a team, and don't be surprised in the next few years if possibly the Chargers and Miami and some of these lower teams that aren't getting the pub now might be one of the better teams to compete, all right, with the Kansas City Chiefs in the near future. And that's big fact. So I'm definitely excited to see where it goes. We have a lot of Saints fans in the building, some that have some opinions that actually make sense and others that don't know what they're talking about. But Notre Dame, all right, has had some excellent picks in this NFL draft. Very, very observant of what they've been doing out there. I think they did a good job with pretty much bringing up the players, even though they haven't had a championship caliber team besides Manti Te'o, all right, and the best friend, all right. But since then, they've been developing great players on the offensive line. They're starting to get guys on defense and other skill positions that I absolutely love. We already know what The Ohio State University is doing. We already know what Alabama's doing, but I'm definitely excited to see where it goes. So Dolphins, Panthers, Browns, Jets, Chargers, those were the big winners. And if you wanted to shout out, a couple other teams that actually had decent drafts, the Giants, kind of a head scratcher with Kadarius Toney, all right, but from Florida, being a Gator, with Azeez Ojulari at outside linebacker, the Giants actually had a decent draft. Vikings, Christian Darrisaw, Kellen Mond. Mond might be a guy that it sounded like that if Justin Fields didn't go where he was going at this point with the Bears. If he would have slid down to around 14, it sounded like the Vikings would have took Justin Fields. A little surprising. We didn't really hear that. I know they got Kirk Cousins there, but they would have went that particular route, but they got Kellen Mond instead, and he's definitely a sleeper. Not sure if he's going to be a guy that's going to take over Kirk Cousins. I don't know if he's going to be a poor man's Dante Culpepper, all right? But the Vikings actually had a decent draft. Another team that had a decent draft in the B range, the Arizona Cardinals. Rondale Moore, my favorite wide receiver in this draft as a sleeper, lower player, all right? And you got Zaven Collins to match up with Isaiah Simmons at linebacker, Budda Baker. You got Chandler Jones. Who Chandler Jones? J.J. Swat. So you're starting to put the pieces in the right amount. First round, second round, third round talent. I wouldn't be shocked if the Cardinals make the playoffs this year, but they really need those defensive players to step up. And then the Eagles, Devonta Smith, wide receiver, the best route runner in the draft. Fly, Eagles, fly. And then you get Landon Dickerson, who might be a Jason Kelsey replacement at center. He can play guard, he can play tackle, he can play center. So the Eagles and the Giants and the Vikings and the Cardinals, they all had pretty good drafts in my opinion. And if you mentioned that, I didn't even talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers one bit. And another team that we got to talk about, the Chicago Bears. All right, they haven't had a franchise QB. The best one that they've had is Jay Cutler. That's not a good look. Jim McMahon with the 85 Bears, but they've never really had a franchise QB. So going up and grabbing a Justin Fields and then pairing him with a Tevin Jenkins, the offensive tackle, that definitely is going to help. And if Aaron Rodgers gets out of Green Bay, don't be surprised if the Bears do big things, because I think that he is going to succeed there. I do think Justin Fields is going to succeed in Chicago. I'm not sure if he's going to be a poor man's Deshaun Watson, but I believe in him. I truly do. Trey Lance has got the best scenario out of all the quarterbacks because you already got a coach in Kyle Shanahan. You got the play callers. You got the offensive line, the running backs, the defense. He's in the best situation to win immediately. Jimmy G might not be there long term, so it'll be easy for him. Trevor Lawrence has got some good coaches and good people around him. Their team's still going to be bad, but they should be able to have some type of success. Zach Wilson probably in the worst situation out of all the quarterbacks that have potential, all right? But if they keep building the roster on the defense and the offensive line, the Jets could actually be halfway decent, maybe an 8-9 team, sooner than later in a couple years. And then you got your boy, obviously, moving forward, right, with Mac Jones. Mac Jones going to the New England Patriots, the perfect spot for him. I could think that he could succeed there as well. So if you look at all those quarterbacks, Zach Wilson might have the most talent, but he's probably going to have to work the hardest with the shitty-ass Jets team that he's on. Mac Jones could succeed instantly, depending on when they give the keys to him after Cam Newton, once he does, 3 or 4 shitty games, and their wide receiving core isn't that good. So it kind of scares me a little bit. You don't really have a lot of good players. Yeah, you got tight ends and Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, but what about the wide receiving core? N'Keal Harry hasn't developed yet. All right, you got Nelson Aguilar from the Raiders. That was good. But no more Julian Edelman, so, I don't really know how good New England really is going to be, but I think Mac Jones could thrive in that environment. Trevor Lawrence will thrive, right? You got Trey Lance could thrive in that offense and that defense and that play calling at Kyle Shanahan, but I'm really interested to see what Zach Wilson does as well. Eagles, Bears, Cardinals, Vikings, Giants, and that B range, all right? But the A range, Chargers, Dolphins, Panthers, Jets, Browns, all right? And let's go into some of the losers, all right? The Big L. And guess what? Bucks going 8-8 this year. See, dude, all this dumb shit talk, just like how you told me that Brady's got a noodle arm, still finished third in passing, won the fucking Super Bowl, you beat me twice, all right? But we found a way to win when it mattered. And then you always say, since 2007, yeah, we were bad, all right? We had Jameis Winston, who you have now, right? We've drafted better than y'all in the last 3 years. We got great starters, great potential, good O-line, up-and-coming secondary, linebacking core. We got the best duo at linebacker in the league, period. Devin White, Levante David, period. All right? Wide receiving core, we got the depth. Tight end, we got the depth. We got depth everywhere. And that's why we're going to be the favored team to win Super Bowl 56 if it's not the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's big facts. The NFC South run is over for y'all. All right, whether you want to admit it or not, you're not in the same realm as my boy and all the rest of our Buccaneer fans in the building. All right, that's facts. You're not there anymore. You have a window of about 4 or 5 years. You guys had your window, could have had a couple Super Bowls. It didn't work out. Now you're going to have to wait until you get your franchise QB after Drew. Once that happens, if it's a bad year this year, 8-9 or worse, and then you get a guy like a Matthew Stafford or a Ryan Tannehill, you'll be right back in it. All right? But with where your team sits right now, you can't be that confident that your team is going to be that good. And that's facts. It's more than just two players, Nola. You should already know this about football. You got to have a team and you got to have depth. 11 on 11. Just because you got AK and MT doesn't mean they're going to stay healthy. And you need a lot more than that. Oh, 3 players. You need a lot more than that, Nola. Do some research, my guy. So losers in the NFL draft. One of the losers in the draft to me was the Cincinnati Bengals. You should have went Penei Sewell, just like obviously with the Chargers and Jay Herb. All right, you ended up getting the guy that you needed to get. You needed to be able to get Rashawn Slater and protect Jay Herb, which you did. But you pass on Penei Sewell. He's going to go to Detroit. All right, Detroit's still going to be shitty. And that's facts, right? Jamar Chase is going to sell jerseys. You're going to put butts in the seats, right? It gives them that comfort level. But you're still going to be one of the worst teams in football. You're still going to be in the bottom of the AFC North. And so if you want to be a good team or a bad team, you definitely don't do what the Bengals did, and you definitely do what the Chargers did. You end up finding value. You get Rashawn Slater, Asante Samuel Jr. Those are great picks. Bengals, good luck, man. Good luck to the Bengals. It's not going to be a good team for a long, long time. Losers of the draft. Green Bay Packers, Max Epo, as we're talking about Rodgers. They're not going to trade him, to the Niners or be someone that they would have to go against week in and week out, month in and month out and have to battle. So if he's going to get traded, he's going to go to the AFC. Facts. So he's going to go to either Denver or the Raiders if they make the deal happen. All right. Quarterback Eric Stokes in the first round. Pretty good player, but not in the first round, right? Center Josh Myers in the second round, and then wide receiver Amari Rodgers in the third round. To give Aaron Rodgers that comfort level, you got to be able to give him an extension, make sure he gets fucking paid, all right? You got to make sure that he gets paid, all right? And make sure that he's happy and get some wide receivers and weapons. If they would have got Justin Jefferson and you would have got him paid, he'd probably stay there for the next 4 to 8 years. There's no guarantee that you're going to win any more Super Bowls, but you're probably going to get to a few more NFC Championship games. So the losers in the draft, the Green Bay Packers, man. Eric Stokes, Josh Myers, Amari Rodgers. You could have did a lot better than that, and now he's threatening to hold out, so it's not looking too good. And like I said, that's good for teams like Tampa Bay, the Rams. That's one less team that we have to worry about, especially the Packers, end up going with their boy and, waiting in the wings. I have no confidence in him, all right, going forward. So we're going to see, if they did the right thing in drafting, last year, but you should have never went for a quarterback when you already had Aaron Rodgers sitting there. It's going to be very, very interesting to see where Green Bay Packer fans are going to go. More than likely, they're going to be hopping off that ship and following Rodgers wherever he is. Next up, Las Vegas Raiders. Arguably the worst draft in 2021 besides the Saints, in my opinion. Packers wasn't good, Bengals wasn't good, but the Saints players probably have a little bit more potential than what you're going to get with the Raiders, right? Because you actually have good coaching, all right? You still got good players on the offensive line, top 5 offensive line led by Ryan Ramczyk. You still got AK-41, you got MT, you got Sean Payton, you got Demario Davis, you got Cam Jordan, you got Marshawn Lattimore, right? You got it. But you got a lot of holes as well, all right? But with the Raiders, all right, you reached Alex Leatherwood? Like, really, that was like the biggest reach. I mean, you don't need to grab a guy at 16, 17, 18 who should have been a second-round pick, all right? And that's facts. So, I can tell you the truth on how I feel, but I still give you guys the love where I feel you guys deserve it. It's just when you get someone like Nola telling me that you guys run the NFC South and that we're going to go 8-8. We definitely know that that's not true. Bringing back all 22 starters, even Ryan Suckup, bringing back AB. But Alex Leatherwood should have not even been a first-round pick, in my opinion. So you reach there. Then you got Trayvon Morrig. I like that pick. The best safety in college football from TCU. So if you would have went Morrig first and then Leatherwood, people would have said maybe you reached a little bit for Trayvon, right? But it's still the best safety, right, in college football. So you can kind of live with that. But there's the fact that you went Leatherwood, then you went Trayvon Morrig. But the reason why the Raiders had the worst draft in 2021, you took 2 more safeties in the first 5 picks. Why the fuck are you picking 5 safeties? You know what I mean? Like, in the first 5 picks, you picked 3 safeties, all right? And you already got Jonathan Abram, who's injury prone. I get it. But you are going to pick 3 safeties in the first 5 picks? It shows me. John Gruden was an intelligent guy on, like, Monday Night Football. John Gruden's camp, right? And going through everything that John Gruden did for me in Super Bowl 37 with Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, John Lynch, all right, Mike Allstott, Brad Johnson, the whole crew, Keyshawn, Keenan McCardell, Joe Juravicius, Ken Dilger, the whole squad. But this motherfucker, all right, I have a lot of pride for John Gruden. Mike Mayock was one of the greatest at mock drafts on any platform. NFL Network, CBS, Fox, ESPN, Bleacher, The Athletic. You go through all the mock drafts in past years, all right? All the mock drafts in past years. Mike Mayock would normally be top 2, top 3 overall based off the experts. How the fuck are you going to be the best at mock drafting and correctly picking certain guys, going to certain teams, when you can't even pick the right guys for the Raiders? I swear to God, John Gruden and Mike Mayock are the worst draft evaluators maybe of all time. It's just really sad because the Raiders, have some potential. They had Carr. You brought Aguilar up. I mean, you either go for the fastest guy in the draft, last year, but then he ended up getting hurt, and you tried to copy the whole Tyreek the Freak Hill thing. It didn't work out. All right, you could have got Devin White, all right, but you went Cleveland Farrell. You just went for certain wants, not necessarily needs, and then the guys never even panned out. Jonathan Abram I like, but he's kind of injury prone, but you just don't know how to pick correctly. Alex Leatherwood, Trayvon Morrig I do like, but why are you taking 2 more safeties in the first 5 picks? Who does that? That's like taking a kicker and a punter within the first 6 picks. Like, nobody's going to do that. You're going to get like a long snapper, maybe one kicker or one punter or a couple in the whole fucking NFL draft. And the Raiders are like picking a kicker and a punter in like the 3rd and 4th round. Like, you just don't understand what they're doing. And it's not Sebastian Janikowski, because I can live with that if you get someone that has that kind of impact. But you got to have a front office, and you absolutely don't. And it's just heartbreaking, for me to be able to watch certain teams just kind of shoot themselves in the foot over and over and over again. Raiders, by far the worst draft, but I do love Trayvon Morrig, so I think that could be a guy you could pair up with, Jonathan Abram, or take his spot, depending on if Abram can stay healthy. The Bengals got Jamar Chase, so it wasn't a horrible draft. I would just like them to protect Joe Burrow rather than going for, the guy that's going to be a catching machine, right? But you still got to avoid the Boyd. A.J. Green is gone, but you still got other weapons there, like T. Higgins that, made a mark. So maybe T. Higgins' development is going to go back a little bit, but you didn't really need Jamar Chase. You definitely could have went Penei Sewell, and I think it would have benefited him long term, even though you're going to be able to have the jersey sales and people are going to want to see Burrow to Chase. But Burrow might not have the time to get Chase the fucking ball, all right, if he's getting fucking slammed to the ground 30 fucking times in a game, and he might tear another ACL, MCL, or PCL. I've never seen an organization, when they have a chance to get a Hall of Fame left tackle, one of the best left tackles, the Quentin Nelson, so to speak, of the draft at the tackle position, and you're like, nah, I'm going to go Jamar Chase. Like, it's just crazy. I know tackles, guards, and centers aren't sexy, but every once in a while, guys live up to the hype. And when you get an offensive lineman that's Hall of Fame, you're going to remember it. You're going to remember guys, on the line like Anthony Munoz or a Trent Williams or a Tyron Smith. You're going to remember guys that did Jonathan Ogden, Orlando Pace. I mean, these guys, I dreamed of having a guy like Orlando Pace on my squad, or a Jonathan Ogden, or a Steve Hutchinson. I mean, these are names that I'm dropping that you guys should be familiar with, all right? Steve Hutchinson with the Vikings and the Seahawks made Sean Alexander what he is. Walter Jones, another one. So even though the Seahawks haven't been great, they've had some pretty good offensive linemen there too. So Raiders definitely have a bad draft. Packers didn't get the right players, in my opinion. The Bengals could have been better. And like I said, Saints fans, I've showed you a lot more love and respect than most people. Saints fans are very critical of their own team, all right? And I'm critical of my own team, and I'm going to tell you just how it is. But this draft for the Saints was one of the worst that I've seen. Now, can you still make these players develop, and hopefully you get at least one impact starter out of the bunch? But there is no guarantee, let's be honest. Peyton Turner in the first round at DN. Asante Samuel Jr. would have been a lot better. Pete Werner, linebacker at 2. From the Ohio State University, you reached for him. You reached for Turner, right? You probably reached too high for Turner. You reached for Werner. Turner and Werner, you could have got better players there. I would have rather signed, kind of go the Panthers route. If you got Terrace Marshall in the second round and then Asante Samuel in the first round, then we're talking about the Saints maybe having one of the better drafts. Asante Samuel Jr. in the first round, you address the corner need, and then instead of Emmanuel Sanders, since he's no longer there, getting a Terrace Marshall Jr., a guy from LSU, then we're like, yes, that's an awesome draft. I would be jealous of a draft like that, of getting, Terrace Marshall Jr. and getting Asante Samuel Jr. in the same draft going 1-2. But you guys got Peyton Turner and Pete Werner. Paulson Adebo's from Stanford, all right? So, I mean, he's going to be a smart guy like Richard Sherman, all right? But there's no guarantee that on the opposite side of Rashawn Slater that he's going to be able to do what they want. Well, that's maybe who they wanted, but, I mean, you can't be 100% confident that these guys are going to pan out. I mean, let's be honest. You got who you wanted. You're not better than Tampa Bay, all right? You didn't really help yourselves out in trying to compete with Tampa Bay in the NFC South. Ian Book, obviously quarterback from Notre Dame. That could be a guy that they could groom. Kind of like a Kyle Trask and my kind of, boat that I got with Tom. But the difference is Kyle Trask and Trask Bay, he probably won't play for 2, 3, 4 years until Brady's gone. Ian Book, I don't know if is good enough to be able to go into the Saints offense and lead you guys. Obviously, you got Jameis. It's a 1-year deal. I don't think he's the guy to take you to the promised land. But if Kirk Cousins or a Ryan Tannehill-ish kind of talent, that's what the Bucs and the Saints are going to be looking for when Breeze is gone, which he is now, right? Or when Tom is gone, that's what you're going to look for. You're going to look for a Tannehill or a Kirk Cousins-ish type of talent, a top 15 talent, someone better than Jimmy G, right? Someone that can actually win you games, but not be a game manager like Alex Smith, unless you can find a gem like a Justin Fields in the draft. Now, if you can get something like that, imagine where that's going to take the Saints and that organization. If you had Justin Fields, right, on the team, things would be looking pretty good, moving forward. Okay, you're like, all right, Breeze is gone. Jameis can be the backup, or if you want to have him start, right, you can kind of go that route. Taysom Hill doesn't need to play quarterback. He doesn't need to compete with Jameis. He can be the Swiss Army knife fullback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, special teams, whatever they want to do. But you're going to need something a little bit better, and that's in my opinion there. So everyone's going to have opinions. Number one chokers in the playoffs. Uh-oh. We talking about the New Orleans Saints? And that's sad because the thing is, let's be honest, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, but the Saints should have won at least one Super Bowl in that little 4 to 5 year run. You're never going to hear any other Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan say that, but in all honesty, the year that you played the Rams, that was the year. You would have played the Patriots, and it would have been tough. All right, but I think that you guys could have beat them that year. Now, as far as the other years, I'm not sure how far that you would have got or if you would have been able to win the Super Bowl. But, I mean, you were a top 4 team every single year for about 4 or 5 years. All right, the Packers do choke too. But look at the Packers on who they're playing. Played the Niners, strong running game. Played Tom and the Bucs. It's going to be tough to beat teams that are at the top, when you can run the football and play good defense. And then on top of that, if you have a decent quarterback that can make plays, Jimmy G's nowhere near Tom Brady, and that's big facts. But that's my opinion there, and not a lot of people are going to be able to say that. So losers in the draft, Bengals, Packers, Saints, and Raiders. But at least on the Saints side, which I can give you guys some credit, Turner and Werner and Adebo and Book, these guys could make some type of impact on your roster because you guys do have good coaching, a great offensive line. You still got good weapons, all right? Defense has got weapons there, right? But you're going to have those other players have to mold and bring up the competition because I don't know if Turner, Werner, and Adebo are impact guys right out the gates. I don't think they are. But there is a little possibility there. So it's not like it's a complete failure, but it's just the names. It could have been a lot nicer. Asante Samuel in the first round, Terrence Marshall Jr. in the second round. Everyone in Saints Nation would have just been, everyone would have just rejoiced and been happy. I mean, even, people on the outside looking in would be like, damn, look at the Saints. They needed wide receiver. Emmanuel Sanders is out. All right, they got Terrence Marshall Jr. Okay, and they need corner on the opposite side of Lattimore. Oh, they ended up getting Asante Samuel Jr. So if you ended up getting that combo, let's be honest, Saints fans would be talking all kinds of shit right now, and I'd be giving you guys the respect that you deserve with those 2 picks. All right, and that's just the bottom line because I said so. You know what I mean? And these guys could pan out, but I just don't like the order that these players were picked based off need, and we'll see who they're going to be able to afford once they get into cap hell in the next couple years, and that's big fact. So big losers, Bengals, Packers, Saints, Raiders, but there's some hope for some of those teams, especially for the Bengals and the Saints. All right, because the players, Jamar Chase is a stud. Saints players could be a little bit better than we anticipate, which I'm hoping for you guys, all right, because I love the NFL. I love all 32 teams, and nothing would make me happier than having you guys be competitive. I don't want you guys to drop off and be an old Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, winning 5 or 6 games. You guys are too talented for that, so I know that's not going to happen, but you definitely are going to take a step back. You're nowhere near going to be on Tampa's level, and the Panthers are coming for you, and that's big facts. Chargers, Dolphins, Panthers, Jets, Browns, A grades in the draft, my guys, especially the Miami Dolphins. Jalen Waddle, Javon Holland, Liam Eichenberg, Jalen Phillips, A+, baby, all right? And then teams that had pretty good drafts. The Bears, Justin Fields, and Tevin Jenkins. You address quarterback, and you address the offensive tackle position. I think Justin Fields is going to pan out. I believe in him. It might take a couple years. I would start him week 1, but I'm hoping that he'll be Deshaun Watson 2.0. Might not be as good as Deshaun Watson, but I'm hoping for the league's sake, for the Bears' sake, for their quarterback's sake, that he ends up being a top 12 quarterback in this league and maybe even top 10. I don't know if he'll be able to get there, but I'm hoping that he'll be a top 12 quarterback. Maybe not the best quarterback out of all 5, but we'll have to wait and see. But he's in a good position in Chicago. All right, Eagles, Devonta Smith and Landon Dickerson. You address the center, guard, tackle position. Jason Kelsey, replacement in the future, and Devonta Smith, the Marvin Harrison of the draft. You finally get Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith to link up and be able to do some damage. I absolutely love that. Jamison Mesa, bang, my guys. Vikings, Christian Darrisaw, Kellen Mond, not bad. And then just coming out that they were going to pick Justin Fields at 14. The Vikings were, even with Kirk Cousins on the roster. Very surprising. The Giants, Kadarius Toney, Azeez Ojulari, outside linebacker and stud wide receiver. The Giants don't need wide receiver, which is kind of a head scratcher, but Kadarius Toney is a stud. Cardinals, sleeper pick, Rondale Moore, wide receiver. He's short, but he squats like fucking 600 pounds. Fucking beast. I absolutely love him. I would take him on Tampa Bay in a heartbeat. Pair him up with Zaven Collins, linebacker, right next to Isaiah Simmons. The Cardinals are going to make the playoffs next year. I really like what they're doing moving forward. And there's a lot of other teams that are up there. But Chiefs, Bills, Browns, that's at the top. All right? But Miami's lurking. You got a couple other teams that are going to be lurking. All right? Ravens and Steelers and Chargers if they can get things going. All right? But right now, Chiefs, Bills, Browns. That's the cream of the crop. NFC, Tampa, all right, Rams, with obviously the Matthew Stafford edition. It was going to be the Green Bay Packers, but if Aaron Rodgers leaves, then you got to put that team, the Broncos or the Raiders, up there as well. Anthony Ramirez, Raiders. Man, you guys had a bad draft, and like I said, I always try rooting for you guys. I'm a John Gruden guy. I like Mike Mayock, you know what I mean? But a lot of head scratching. But the thing is, you can all make up for it if you end up trading Carr and you get Aaron Rodgers, all right? If you end up trading some of your picks away, all right, no matter if it's Max Crosby, if you end up trading, Abram, Carr, 2, 3 first-round draft picks, if you get Aaron Rodgers to go there instead of Denver, things could be forgiven in the draft. All right, Alex Leatherwood, you reached. You know that too. Everyone's been talking about it, all right? You literally reached way too high for this guy. You do need offensive line. There's no question about it. You needed it. But there was other options that I think that would have been better. Trayvon Morrig, top safety in football. So even though the draft, some people think it's horrible. It wasn't the worst draft. It wasn't the best draft because at least you got Trayvon Morrig, but you already have Jonathan Abram there, but he is injury prone. TCU safety is a stud, right? But what's a head scratcher, Anthony? All right, being a Raiders fan, you took 2 more safeties in the first 5 picks. 3 safeties? I mean, nobody does that, bro. You know what I mean? So it could work out for you guys for depth and whatnot, but there was a lot of other positions that you guys could have addressed, especially when you ended up losing your boy at wide receiver to the Patriots, and he was probably one of the kind of silent MVPs, for you guys. He was in Philly. He had the drops. He ended up kind of making a name for himself with you guys, and we already know Darren Waller, Raiders, is a top 5 tight end, all right? But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But it was just kind of a head-scratcher there for me, personally. But like I said, if you get Aaron Rodgers, to come in, things could really shift. Then at that point, you're going to be probably looking at the Chiefs, right? The Bills, the Browns, and the Raiders. And if Denver gets Aaron Rodgers, Denver's got to be in the mix too. Because even though Denver's got holes, you got Von Miller, you got Bradley Chubb, now you got Patrick Surtain, right? So you got weapons there. So it's going to be interesting, but I hate to say it, but Gruden and Mayock, they just can't draft, my guy. If I was in that war room, man, if I could just speak up and just tell them, and you guys are good evaluators of talent, at least so we thought. Mayock was one of the best mock drafters out of anybody when he was on NFL Network. But it seems like now you're drafting for your team, and they're just not hitting on the picks. You know what I mean? Think about it. You guys could have had Devin White, my guy, my favorite player, right? Not named Levante David. You guys went Cleveland Farrell. Hasn't really worked out. You know what I mean? So we'll see where it goes. Rodgers will go to Cisco. Not happening. Because even though that's where he wants to go, think about it. You think Green Bay is going to trade their top guy to a team that they would have to face to get to the NFC Championship game? No, it's not happening. It's definitely going to be AFC. It's going to be AFC. You're not going to trade, your guy and be a top 3 team in the NFC with the Bucs and the Rams and the Packers just to trade Aaron Rodgers to where he wants to go with the best coach in Kyle Shanahan, right? And then you put the Niners up there, then they're a top 3 team. They could end up, beating Tampa Bay or the Rams, so we're going to have to kind of wait and see. So I'm hoping, Anthony, that it works out a little bit better. But at some point, they're going to have to fire Mayock or Gruden and get someone a little bit better. And I love Gruden and I love Mayock. But they just have proven year in and year out they haven't hit on the draft. But, they still have gotten some pretty good production out of guys. Darren Waller's been good. Carr had a pretty good season. But you have a lot of issues on defense, a lot of holes. The offensive line needs to get better. So we'll see where it goes. But that's kind of where I'm breaking it down. And we're going to be able to get the schedule to come out. That's one thing that NOLA can say that actually has some backing to it. The schedule is going to come out, and we're going to see who plays when. But again, Chargers, Rashawn Slater, Asante Samuel Jr. Rashawn Slater, second best left tackle. Asante Samuel Jr., probably the 4th or 5th best corner, but he is a good fit in many, many places. I would have loved to see the Saints grab him. Chargers had a good draft. Like I said, the Panthers, J.C. Horn, Terrence Marshall Jr., Brady Christensen, and Tommy Tremble. Great draft. The Jets, Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, the best guard, arguably the best quarterback. Michael Carter from University of North Carolina, maybe a 3rd down back. And then you get Elijah Moore from Ole Miss. Absolutely fantastic draft there as well. And then the Browns, Greg Newsome, corner, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And then you got Anthony Schwartz, 3rd-round burner. And like I said, with the Titans, Jameson Meza, I see your donations, and I think the Titans didn't have a horrible draft, but like I said, just comparing to some of these other guys, the Bud Dupree move was huge. Just getting Bud Dupree, regardless of what happens in your draft in 2021, getting that stability there, is going to make the defense better because that was a weak spot of your team. Tannehill, King Henry, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis. Now we're going to have to find that replacement for Corey Davis that's going to be as reliable as Corey Davis game in and game out, and we're going to have to kind of wait and see who that's going to be. But they improved the defense, what held you back, and will be a threat to win the AFC Championship. You are going to be one of the teams that's going to be in the mix, absolutely. The Colts will be there, the Titans will be there, the Browns, the Bills. But at this point, the Chiefs, with what they got with Orlando Brown, starting left tackle from the Ravens, what they got from Joe Thuney from the Patriots, starting left guard, all right? You got Kyle Long, Lawrence Duvernay Tardif coming back, right? You got Niang, you got a whole squad there. So it's going to be hard to really compete with the Chiefs and the Bucs, in my opinion. Those are the cream of the crop, but you still got teams that are close, like the Rams, the Bills, the Browns, and a few others, depending on if Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay. But the Titans and Colts will definitely be in the mix, right? But then if that happens, you're going to almost want to pray that the Chiefs play someone like the Bills before they play you, and then the Bills win. Then you can play the Bills and try to get to the Super Bowl. Because if you end up playing a team like the Chiefs, I'm not sure if there's going to be much chance there until you beef up that defense a little bit more. I love your offense. King Henry's great. A.J. Brown's one of my favorites. You can argue Derrick Henry's the best running back in the game that's not named AK-41. A.J. Brown is a top 10 wide receiver in this league. Some people think he's creeping up to the top 5. Titans draft grade is a B, got better, stronger, and deeper. And like I said, I do like what the Titans did. Absolutely. Odin's Child, Super Bowl 56, Mahomes, Brady. 3 Mahomes taking the dub. Hey, we're going to have to see on where it goes. And like I said, I appreciate every single one of y'all that came in during the draft. Spectacular. It was a fantastic draft. I hit 13 of the first 15 picks. $250 in donations, through Cash App and through the app here itself. We're at $40 in donos right now. If you haven't smashed the like button just yet, please do. But I'm the hardest working motherfucker on planet Earth. If you want your NFL coverage, I'm here. If you want to be able to break down teams, players, as we're getting into the 2021 season, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to be able to mix up the green screens. I'm going to invest in some money with some Photoshop and different editing tools to hopefully be able to make the thumbnails where you can see this ugly mug in the thumbnail with maybe a stadium background or the team name in the background. So I'm definitely planning on really trying to revamp the thumbnails, and I'm going to be doing more with the green screen. I'm excited to see where this goes, and like I said, being able to get back to that 20,000 subscriber mark, to make up some of those ones that maybe they took their sub away after the NFL season ended. So I need a little bit over 100 to be able to get there, and then once the NFL season starts, I know we're going to get well above and beyond that, and then we'll be climbing to 21, 22, 25K, 30K, 50K. A lot of hard work, passion, dedication, but you guys are the best fans on planet Earth, the Fanatic family. You know what I mean? 3.3 million views. We'll get closer to 3.5 and 4 million sooner than later. All right, and I already got over 1,100 videos, live streams, original content on the channel itself. So hard work is something that I'm used to, and like I said, I already worked an 8 or 9 hour day, and I'm still grinding with y'all. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I love your guys' input. Like I said, as we're going into the season, we'll see if those Saints players end up panning out. Peyton Turner, DN, Pete Werner, linebacker from The Ohio State University, Paulson Adebo from Stanford corner, Ian Book from Notre Dame. Will it pan out? Will it not? Like I said, a lot of questions to be answered, but one thing that we definitely know moving forward, the NFC South football is going to be fire, all right? Kyle Pitts on Atlanta, J.C. Horn, all right, with the Panthers, with Sam Darnold in that squad, getting a healthy run CMC. We'll have the Saints players trying to compete with Tampa Bay, and then we're going to have all the other teams. I'm excited to see what Kansas City does, to see if the Bills can finally get over the hump, and I'm also wanting to see if the Rams can get over the hump now since they got Matthew Stafford. Watching the Rams play week in and week out is going to be something I'm really looking forward to. Matthew Stafford deserves to be on a good football team with a good head coach, and he finally gets it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams knock off Tampa Bay and go to the Super Bowl, since it is going to be in LA, but I have a lot of confidence in my team to hopefully get there and play Kansas City again. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys smash the like button, donate to your boy, make sure you hit those notification bells, so that way when you want to get another new video, either a reaction video, original content, live stream, your boy's going to be here. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best fans on planet Earth. Fanatic family, gang, gang, gang. NWSF Chain Gang in the building. You guys are the best. I love you, and I appreciate you. Happy Monday. And like I said, I'll be back probably tomorrow with another video, and anything that you guys want to comment on the video after the video is over, like any suggestions for anything that you want me to do based off reaction videos of players or anything like that, I'm going to do it. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. NWSF Chain Gang in the building. Peace. Love you guys. Gang.